Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Throwdown for the week of March 7th, 2021. I'm Caleb Black. This is Luke the Big Dog Williams, our in-studio producer, the Mighty Max Fury. And it's time for Top 5. Again, a lot revolving around AEW's Revolution tonight in honor of Paul White becoming a major signee, the announcing of 2 more debuts on Sunday's AEW
Oh, by the
Revolution.
way, spoiler alert.
This comes out later on in the week.
The mystery people for Sunday are. Yeah, we're kidding.
We don't know. We filmed this on Sunday. However, it does lead the question, what are your favorite crossovers, jumping ship, appearing in a new company, signees, debuts, those types of acquisitions? What are some of your favorites? So we're dedicating this segment to top 5 debuts of major acquisitions.
Start us off.
In a new company. I'm going in no particular order because I think they're all great, but in no particular order, my top 5 is definitely Booker T's debut in the WWF after the close of WCW when he comes out and hits the axe kick on Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, yeah.
It's what ignites the invasion. It's what brings WCW back to the forefront after the closing. And it gave you an idea like, holy shit, the WCW guys are here now. Like, this is gonna be awesome. Unfortunately, we all saw what happened in the invasion. It went so terribly wrong. But that moment, Booker T coming in, axe-kicking Stone Cold, who is the top name in the company, taking the WCW title belt and getting the fuck out of Dodge. So good.
My number 5 would be Christian Cage debuting for TNA.
Yeah, I don't think you can argue with that.
It was one of those moments where no one saw it coming.
Nope.
He wasn't there, and then he was there. Yep. Went on to win the NWA Championship and be a staple in TNA till he left and originally.
Do you remember how the debut went? He comes out in the Team Canada T-shirt with Scott D'Amore. The Dudley Boys are in the ring with Jarrett, and it's Jarrett's Alliance, which is Team Canada and AMW. Yep. And they're putting the boots to everybody. Christian comes out with the fucking Team Canada shirt on. He hugs D'Amore. Jarrett's, oh yes, Christian's with us. Turns around, rips that Team Canada shirt off to have the TNA shirt, hits Scott D'Amore with the unprettier, then him and the Dudley Boys pursuit then to put the beat down on Jarrett. Sure. And Nash obviously comes down because he was the...
I had said it for years that Christian was a main level player. Yeah. And people basically laughed at me. And then when he went to TNA and he won the heavyweight championship, I was like, see?
Well, and remember, too, like that came off of Christian's awesome run in 2005.
Yeah.
When he was that close to being the guy.
Yep.
And he ended up leaving and going to TNA to do what? Be the guy.
Yeah.
So good. Number 4, mine's a Jericho moment. Just to get it out there. Chris Jericho debuting via satellite at NJPW to challenge Kenny Omega to the Wrestle Kingdom match that set the pace for what we now know as AEW. It's so cool. The traditional thing in NJPW is for after a title defense for the new challenger to come out and challenge in the ring. That's sort of how they do it there. And you see the camera come on and you hear some things and then it's Jericho. Mm-hmm. And even the Japanese crowds are going nuts. The internet blew up. I must have watched that video 800 times when Jericho, says, Omega, best in the world. Wrestle Kingdom 12, you get to prove it to me or something like that. So good. So good.
Really good. My number 4 would be, let's see, there's so many I can choose. Yeah. I'm going to go number 4 also is a TNA debut. The very first time Jeff Hardy jumped ship to TNA. No one knew who it was. They had this big build-up, and on the screen, there was a countdown like they did for Christian. Yep. And then at the end of it, it said, see you in the future, and then Jeff Hardy. And that crowd exploded.
Mike Tenay, Don West went nuts.
Oh, man. Don West always.
And he wrestled AJ Styles.
Yes.
Which is a fucking dream match at that time period. Even that, that was before TNA was on, mainstream TV. Yeah. But if you were watching Ring of Honor at the time and you were kind of following, you would have known who AJ was.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, the 2 top crazy high-flying motherfuckers? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So good.
So, yeah, that's my number 4, Jeff Hardy's debut in TNA.
Now,
the first time.
My number 3 is actually another one of Jeff Hardy's debuts. If you guys remember, Jeff Hardy bounced back and forth between the WWE and TNA for a long time. Long time. For that 8-year little stretch, he was only signing 1 to 2 year contracts and he'd show up. And Jeff Hardy returned on Monday Night Raw randomly. Yeah. After a stint with TNA. And actually, you might remember this. You and I were at the Mississippi Flyway. I'm talking to Max now. We're at the Mississippi Flyway, which was a little bar we used to go to when we were teenagers because we could do that. And Monday Night Raw was on in the pool room. And Jeff Hardy showed up on TV and challenged Edge to a match in the main event. and he lost because I think like Umaga helped him or something like that. But it was Jeff Hardy just randomly reappearing on Monday Night Raw.
I remember when that took place. Yep. Yeah, that was huge.
Yep. That was like 07.
What was it, my number 3?
Your number 3.
Your number 3? That was my number 3. I mean, I would be remiss not to say Scott Hall.
Yeah.
Showing up on Nitro in WCW for the first time, talking about, is this where the big boys play?
Yeah.
And then telling Sting, I've got a big surprise for you next week, and then bringing out Nash.
Yep.
And of course, this was the thing that set the wheel in motion for the New World Order, which also set the wheel in motion for professional wrestling as we know it today.
Yep.
Without that defection from WWE to WCW, it would have changed the entire landscape of professional wrestling.
I agree.
Scott Hall.
My number 2, DDP debuting as the Stalker. Because they've been running these vignettes for weeks about someone stalking, what was her, Tiffany?
No, it was Sarah.
Sarah, the Undertaker's first wife.
Yeah.
And for weeks, the stalker's at his house watching him through the window and watching them through the garage and all this stuff. And this fucking guy comes out in the mask and the lights come out. Lights come back on. There's a guy standing in the ring in leather jacket, pulls that fucking mask off. It's DDP, and the audience blows.
Oh my God, yeah.
Come on, Taker. Make me famous. And of course, then they fucked it entirely to hell. But what a great moment.
All the way drunk.
All the way drunk.
My number 2, speaking of giant pops, WrestleMania, we have tag teams in the ring waiting for a tag team ladder match. New Day comes out, says there's one more team that's going to be part of this ladder match. I start to faint like they're going to walk to the ring, and the Hardy Boys music kicks.
We were in the back room.
And it's the first time the Hardy Boys have been in WWE in almost,
5 years?
6 years? And the crowd lost their fucking minds. It was one of the loudest pops I have ever seen on television because it was so loud and so heavy. The camera, you could see the camera shake.
Yeah.
Because the crowd was going so crazy. I love it. I'm big Matt Hardy fan.
Yeah.
Of course, they also mishandled that with not being able to do the broken gimmick and stuff. But at that time, that was because they had just wrestled the Young Bucks earlier in the day for Ring of Honor.
In that weekend, they wrestled a Friday event in TNA where they dropped the TNA World Tag Team titles. Yep. They wrestled the Young Bucks on the Saturday where they dropped the Ring of Honor titles.
No. They dropped those titles Sunday afternoon.
Whichever way
the day of Mania.
In that weekend, they were TNA World Tag Champions, Ring of Honor Tag Champions, and WWE Tag Champions.
All in the same stretch of 3 days.
All in the same stretch of 3 days.
Fantastic.
And they were in, because Ring of Honor was in wherever, was in New Orleans.
Yep.
But they kayfabed the whole thing. It was such a cool moment.
So good. And the Bucks knew and kept it quiet too, which was really cool.
Before we get to our number 1 picks, do we have any honorable mentions? I've got one.
Yes. Max.
Go ahead, Max. You haven't said anything yet.
Yes. In honor of Paul White going to AEW.
Oh, yeah.
We have to go to 1997, St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Son of a bitch.
Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Vince McMahon in the steel cage.
No, but I was going to say that one.
Yeah.
I
was. Now I've got to change it. That was fantastic. Yes. That was a big turn.
Yeah.
A
turn of the tide.
Yeah, for sure.
Really.
Him showing up through the bottom of the ring.
Through the ring, throws Austin into the side of the cage, busts open, Austin drops down, wins the match.
Oh my God, it was so good.
One of my honorable mentions is the Radicals showing up on Monday Night Raw the week after they left WCW, and they're just in the crowd. Of course, they get in the fight with DX, and Ross is really they work the other place. They're not even supposed to be in the building, and they're really selling it. Oh man! And as a kid, I'm like, that's Benoit, Eddie, and Perry Saturn. It's gonna be so good.
Oh yeah. My honorable mention, since Max took the one I was gonna say, you can't step past AJ Styles in the Royal Rumble.
You cannot.
I mean, you would think that would be something like my number 1, but I got something special for my number 1 unless you fucking say it. It's going to piss me off. But no, AJ Styles, they fucked the camera view with Roman Reigns. They screwed it completely by not showing his face when he first come out. But that crowd was on fire.
Yeah.
And the first person he touches in WWE just happens to be the champion.
Yep.
Couldn't have booked it better.
Yep. My number 1 pick in the history of acquisitions is Kurt Angle going to TNA.
It's not what I wanted. All right.
Now, here's the thing, though. They announced it previously at the pay-per-view beforehand. Jim Cornette was still the general manager. Yep. He comes out at the end of the pay-per-view. It's right when Impact was going to Thursday nights or something like that on Spike TV, or they were getting going to 2 hours because they had the 1 hour program.
They were moving from the Fox Sports Net channel to Spike.
Yeah,
that's when that announcement took place. Yeah,
and no, they were already on Spike.
Oh, were they?
Okay, they were going. They're going to 2 hours because Cornette comes out and he goes, starting next week, starting because the pay per view was in February, and he debuted in March or something. He said, starting in March, Impact's going to 2 hours. Crowd's cool. And Kurt Angle's coming with us. And the internet went nuts because Kurt Angle formally retired from the WWE in that year. He was supposed to not wrestle anymore. That's the pitch he gave to Vince to get out of his contract. And Vince let him do it without any no-compete.
Moron.
Just let him go. You fucking idiot. All right, Luke, what is your number one debut?
My number one, you're going to be so upset.
Is this?
My number one took place at Survivor Series. Triple H is beating down Dolph Ziggler, and the lights go out.
Oh.
And when the lights come back on, it's Sting.
Yeah.
Sting's debut in the WWE is the Vigilante. I got fucking goosebumps. Look at this.
Yeah.
Goosebumps everywhere. The crowd lost their minds. And the best part of it is if you go on YouTube and watch reaction videos, fans at home lost their fucking minds.
I remember watching it because I don't think we watched that one together.
We didn't. We were on the phone afterwards.
As soon as it happened, I grabbed my phone and was like, yeah, we
when the lights went out, the first thing out of my mouth, my wife's sitting next to me, I go, it's Sting.
Yeah.
And then I just got I got real quiet. This is a great story because me and you talk about it all the time.
Yeah. Oh.
I got real quiet and I go, it's Sting. And then he come out and I'm just sitting there dumbfounded. And my wife's like, what's wrong with you? And I go, I have to call Caleb. And I grab my phone like it's taking place. I have to call Caleb. And by the time I get my phone to my hand and this goes to my face, my phone goes off. And it's him.
Yeah.
And as soon as I answered the phone, he goes, in the same monotone I am, it's Sting.
Yeah.
And I was like, for the first time in 40 guesses, we were right.
We've always had this running joke. Ever since, they ran a bunch of promos on Raw back in like 2007 where The Undertaker was coming back, but they made people think it was Sting, then TNA copied it or whatever. So we had this running joke between the two of us for years that the mystery debut or anytime there's going to be a new debut, we always just like, Sting.
If you go back to the AEW video earlier this
he
week,
made the joke.
I made the joke in the ladder match. It's Sting.
And so Sting showing up. How that wasn't my number one.
In my opinion, in the last 15 years, probably one of the biggest acquisitions for somebody to jump ship, period.
Yep. Well, guys, let us know about some of your major acquisitions.
Paul White was a good one, though,
That's a damn good one. Let us know in the comments down below after you like and subscribe. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Throwdown. Follow us on Twitter at Pro Wrestling TD, or send us an email at ProWrestlingThrowdown@gmail.com. Stay tuned. We got a couple more videos coming your way.